Hi everyone! Lily here. Let's do something fun today. I want to make my personal tier list. I know tier list is a controversial topic that is up for debate no matter who creates it. Even if Albert Einstein plays Honkai Star Rail and makes a tier list, some internet random will still comment, L take. That's why I make this tier list personal and strictly follow how I play the game, so you shouldn't see it as a guide since you might play differently. That's fair, right? Before I start, let me show you the rules. First, this list is about 4-star characters plus Emcee and their synergy with each other. I won't take any 5-star into consideration, so arguments like Hertha is great with Bronya is by default invalid. Secondly, the playstyle used as a basis for this tier list is Hybrid Break, which puts heavy emphasis on perfect rotation creation, personal damage, and break damage. And the final rule is, characters within the same cycle are not equal. They are put in an order from left to right. Next is the terminology. S tier belongs to units that make great impact on the team and are nearly irreplaceable. A tier belongs to units that are generally good. B tier belongs to niche units that could be great in certain situations but mid anywhere else. C tier belongs to characters that don't make good impressions on me. And D tier belongs to Mei units. With that being said, let's begin the placing. The first character is Arlen. Unfortunately, he is quite underwhelming in my opinion. I've been hesitating to build Arlen due to his playstyle, and his element puts him in direct competition with Serval, who is just better in every way as lightning DPS. Lightning by itself is not a strong element, so he doesn't offer high value from break standpoint either. I think C tier is fair for him. Asta is easily S tier. High attack buff, good shield depleter, and removes the need of using speed boots on many characters. If you want to play more risky, she can be built as sub-DPS as well. The only downside I could think of is probably the bounce attack, which makes it a bit difficult to time the shield break. That's why I'm not a fan of using Asta as shield breaker. She is a shield depleter. Next is Dan Heng. He is one of the 2 options to counter enemies who are weak to wind elements. Good personal damage, good break damage, and good meter. Small caveats. Players need a proper rotation to unleash his full damage potential, but it's very easy to do. He deserves to be in a tier. Speaking of a fire character that's more suitable as shield breaker than Asta, Fire Emcee is the one. Even though her main role is tank, she doesn't have bounce attacks, which means players can calculate their break timing more accurately. She also has blast attack, which is useful to break multiple shields at once. I build my Fire Emcee as a tank and a breaker, and it works wonderfully. As a sustainer, she's also pretty good. Under the right circumstances, she can solo carry. I have demonstrated it many times in MOC, including floor 10. So, considering what she offers to the team, I'll put her above Dan Heng in A tier. Following Fire Emcee, another fire character named Pitch Dark Hook the Great is also placed in this tier. She is a DPS with good personal damage, decent meter, and good break damage. Her overall value just increased because with the release of Lynx, she now unlocks a new role, a taunter. Unlike Arlen, her playstyle isn't anti-synergistic with Lynx's ability, so this is good. Next is Hertha. I've built my Hertha, by the way. Even though her relics combination isn't optimal, I think her stat is pretty good. However, I feel like she's inherently lacking damage. As an erudition character, this is definitely not ideal. Combine it with ice that isn't intended as an offensive element, she needs to be pampered pretty hard in order to be able to do respectable damage. She could shine in a specific scenario, for example when there are many enemies who are dangerous but weak to ice. Hertha can help players shut them down effectively by utilizing her follow-up attacks. But other than that, in my opinion, she's quite mediocre. B tier feels right for her. Luca is a character I recently built, and I'm very impressed by his performance against physical weak enemies. His combo with Sushang is very destructive. Sushang, who can break very quickly using the extra action, and then Luca detonates her bleed. But unfortunately, without Sushang, he's just okay. It's difficult to raise his personal damage as he needs some investment in effect hit rate. And then players also need to balance the crit damage, crit rate, attack, and break effect. Balancing 5 effective stats at once? Yeah, not happening. Detonator is the more realistic role for Luca and thus making him a niche character. So I'll put him in B tier as well. Now we have Lynx, S tier, nuff said. No, but seriously, she's a healer with good meter, AoE debuff removal, and opening up a new role for our destruction characters. At worst, she is just as good as Natasha, while at best, Having Lynx in a team feels like bringing two sustain characters. Together with March 7th, she's currently the top 2 4-star solo sustainer. Having at least one sustain character is a must in the current state of the game, unless you're doing 0 cycle run. This makes Lynx's existence very crucial, even above Asta. It's debatable who is better between March 7th and Lynx, since both can solo sustain very well in their own way. I personally pick March 7th over Lynx due to the fact that she fills another role that Lynx can't do: shield depleter. There is a reason why until now I don't see any point of using Hertha to counter ice-weak enemies, because the combo of March 7th and Payla is really good to deplete the enemy's shield. In this role, March 7th is definitely more advanced. Lynx could be the better sustain because she is a healer, but March 7th is more versatile. That's why I place her above Lynx. Many people said that Lynx will replace Natasha. I disagree with that statement. To me, Lynx exists to replace Fire Emcee, who will get a new path in the near future. Yes, Natasha's value just dropped since Lynx is the better version of her, but there will be a moment where neither Lynx or March 7th can solo sustain. That's when Natasha becomes necessary. For that reason, I still put her in high A tier. Next is Payla. I think she deserves to be placed in low S tier. Payla is useful in any team. There are only a few supports within the 4-star roster, and Payla happens to have the best type of damage amplifier, Def Shred. It increases both normal damage and break damage. As a character, she has good meter and versatile skill point management. And as explained before, she can work with March 7th as shield depleter. Players can also build her as semi-DPS if they want to, because she has good damage potential as well. Payla is a well-rounded character who's able to do multiple jobs. Then there is Physical Emcee. She was our only option to counter physical weak enemies, but after that, she lost to Sushang and now to Luca as well. Even though her ultimate has good multiplier, her meter is bad. I'd love to put her in C tier with Arlen, but with the release of Lynx, she now can taunt consistently, which indirectly fixes her meter. I just demonstrated it in my recent Floor 10 showcase. So now I will put her in low B tier because this role is only possible when there is Lynx. The next character is Ching Chui.
I can't say the answer I want to say, so.
Let me do something for her. Ching Chui is not bad, I just can't control her. I want full control to create a perfect rotation with precise timing to break the shield. To do that, I also need full control over skill point management, and Ching Chui is the worst unit for this playstyle. So let's say she is a wild card instead of D tier. Next, Sampo. In Break Team, Sampo has the same issue as Asta, which is bounce attack. However, Sampo's role in general is more niche, as he is an exclusive character for DOT team. So I will put him in high B tier, above Luca. It's very easy to place Serval in this tier list. She is the only reliable 4-star erudition at the moment. Good damage potential, very good meter, and she's my universal solution against multiple enemies, even if they are not weak to lightning. High A tier easily. The same goes for Sushang. If Luca performs incredibly with Sushang, she doesn't need Luca to do her job. She's a good physical breaker with good personal damage as well. Thanks to her extra action mechanic, she can handle multiple enemies quite well. She's like a physical version of Dan Heng with an improved mechanic and without the strict buff timing, so I will put her in A tier too. Next character is Tingyun. She has to be here. It feels wrong to put her anywhere else. Anyone who owns Tingyun knows how crucial she is in a team, normal team, or break team, no difference. So I will not waste your time by explaining why she is at the top of this list. And finally, our last character is Yukon. She is a character that isn't easy to play. Like, if you use her right out of the box, 99% you will miss her buff timing. Has a steep learning curve and needs some speed tuning in order to perform properly. But once you get the right speed value, you will enjoy her buff so much. Specifically in Break Team, using Yukon is very challenging. Break Team requires speed tuning by default, since you need a precise break timing. I often change my character's speed values to get the rotation I want for a specific battle. Yukon adds an extra layer of speed tuning on top of the team speed tuning, and I'm not sure that's worth the effort. That's why I still haven't built my Yukon yet. She also has poor synergy with characters that constantly change their speed value, such as Sushang. You might argue that since she is the only imaginary character in this list, that means she is irreplaceable when fighting imaginary weak enemies. Well, that is not the case for now, as we have many solutions for that problem. The same goes for other characters. None of them are the only solution for certain types of enemies, because every enemy is weak to 3 elements, so you will have multiple options. With that being said, though, she's still a support that offers strong buffs. I just don't think she's as valuable as the others in S tier. To me, high A tier right below Natasha is more fitting placement for her. And that's it. Here is my first official tier list. Again, this is not a guide, so don't go around using this list to counter other people's opinions. You saw the rules earlier, they might not apply to other people's accounts. I will constantly update this list whenever a new 4-star character is released. See you!